You're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio, featuring the Interactive Interview, courtesy of WrestlingEpicenter.com.
So what you gonna do?
Let me talk to you, dummies.
Oh, yeah.
You're where it's at.
If you're smart like me, you gotta listen.
And if you don't listen to it,
I'll come out of your computer and body slam your ass.
Don't be a Melvin.
I will scar you.
open your third eye.
Woo! It's gonna be cool. Oh, what a rush.
It's showtime!
We had a lovely conversation.
To the interactive interview. Interactive wrestling radio.
The Epicenter.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to this week's Impact Wrestling Media Teleconference. This is Ross Foreman. Before we welcome Josh Mathews, who's back joining us, just a reminder, Impact Wrestling Media Teleconference live stream presented by Pluto TV. Watch over 100 channels of movies, news, sports, and more completely free on any streaming device. Download the app today. Pluto TV is free TV. And with that, let me open his lineup. Josh Mathews, good afternoon. How you doing?
Ross, do you have a moonlighting career as a voiceover guy?
I do. I have done that. I didn't know you knew that, but I have done that for about 12 years at this point.
You're phenomenal at voiceover reads.
Thank you.
Good afternoon or good evening to everyone on the line today. Of course, Impact Wrestling goes down later tonight. I'm looking forward to this show. You've got some amazing things taking place. How about the graphics that we put out on social media? Pentagon Jr. versus Matt Sydal. That match is going to be awesome. The Desi Hit Squad versus P.D. Williams and Taji Ishimori. And then, of course, the guest this week on the phone, on the teleconference, she calls herself the uncrowned Knockouts champion. Tessa Blanchard will face a returning Alicia Edwards, whose husband, Eddie, is in the main event challenging for the world title against Austin Aries tonight. So top to bottom, just a great show. I'm really looking forward to what's going to go down tonight. And then we get ready to leave for Toronto Saturday for Impact tapings on Sunday and Monday back at the Rebel Entertainment Complex. Tickets are still available at shopimpact.com. And I believe we're very close to being sold out on our VIP. The Mario Kart tournament has been the talk of Impact Wrestling. We're going to play Mario Kart on Monday morning live on Twitch. Ross sent me the plaque for what the winner is going to receive. It's very cool, and I'm very much looking forward to that tournament on Monday. And then, of course, we've got a couple of other Twitch shows lined up. We'll be in Knoxville sooner rather than later. And then on the 25th of August, I think that Knoxville show's on the 19th. On the 25th of August, we have two shows. One is with Destiny in Toronto, Mississauga, and then the second one where I'll be, where Moose will be, where Eddie Edwards will be, where Eli Drake will be, where Sanjay Dutt will be, is in Binghamton, New York. And earlier that day at noon Eastern Time, we will be at Peterson's Tavern in Binghamton in New York for the Bound for Glory on sale party. So tickets for BFG in New York will officially go on sale at 1 p.m. Eastern online. And the party will get started at noon. So if you're anywhere near Binghamton, if you guys are reporting this, if you guys can do that cool thing where you quote me and put it on Twitter, the party will be at noon. We'll be there, and we'll have tickets and VIP packages available for Bound for Glory. And I don't think tickets are going to last long. We're working on some really fun events for Bound for Glory in October, working with different wrestling promotions that are running shows in the 5 boroughs. And we're really going to stretch it out and have a lot of fun in New York in October. So with that said, Ross, I'll answer some questions.
All righty. We got questions for Josh at this point. *6 to get in queue. Please identify yourself and your media outlet.
Q&A session has started. To ask your question, please press *6.
Hi, Josh. This is Rory from Team Venom Media. I've seen that there's been quite a bit of promotion go out this week for the Impact versus UK event that's taking place at WrestleMediaCon in Manchester in September. What can you tell us that we can start to expect going forward for that show?
Expect an announcement tomorrow morning in the UK, and then make sure you follow our UK Twitter because they're going to have some information about matches and things like that, all the good stuff, right, that you guys want. That stuff will start rolling out tomorrow, so expect to see that come out tomorrow. And one of the matches is one that when I saw it, I said, wow, this is going to be a really cool match. And my graphics designer, our graphics designer for Impact, he's based in the UK, and he obviously gets privy information because he needs to make these graphics, and I sent it to him, and he said, wow, this one is going to be amazing. So that'll happen tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Josh, you mentioned the Mario Kart that's going to happen on Monday.
That's what I said.
Any predictions on who might come out on top?
Any predictions on who might win the Mario Kart? I think I'm going to go with the field because there's with the fans because there's so many of them, 26 or 28 fans, and then you've got Sami Callihan, who's a loose cannon. I haven't played video games in I don't know how long. Sanjay is a big gamer. He may win, and Rich Swann is a big gamer. He's got a chance, and I bet you, Ross, that we get some Impact stars that are going to see this and say, I'm playing. I want in. And before you know it, I'm going to have to kick everyone out of the ring because we have a show to produce. Is that it for me with questions?
Hey, Josh,
no more questions?
Well, we have one more. Hold on, Josh.
Okay. I got to go.
Yeah, this is Rohit Nath from Sportskeeda.
Go ahead with your question.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ed. Yeah, you're good. What's up?
Yeah. So I want to ask you, has there been any talks or any plans of Impact returning to India anytime soon, given how last year was very successful?
Well, I loved our trip to India. I can't wait to come back. I don't know for sure when that's going to happen, but the calendar's starting to book up for the rest of this year, and I know that we would love to come back to India. I had so much fun. I tell you guys every time that you ask me about this, the fun that I had, and it was totally worth the 26 hours of being in the air to be over there with you guys and to produce Impact Wrestling from Mumbai, Film City. That was so much fun.
All right, Josh, your time is precious. Of course, we appreciate it very much. Any final thought?
I just appreciate you, Ross.
No, I appreciate you. And
hey, I do for real. One thing. I'm glad that you were on time for the Tessa Blanchard teleconference because last time you made her wait like 15 minutes. Remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah, why don't we just segue? Josh, you're on mute, so that's probably the best thing I've heard all day out of you. Let's welcome our special guest, the one who we all want to talk to, Tessa Blanchard. Welcome.
Hello.
How's it going with you?
I'm doing fantastic, Ross.
All right, well, always a pleasure to talk to you. Your thoughts of heading back up to Toronto on shows Sunday and Monday at the Rebel Entertainment Complex?
Yeah, I'm really excited just spending this week preparing in the gym, dieting, the usual, getting ready for the week. I think they just announced that it's going to be me, Allie, and Sue Young for the Knockouts Championship on Sunday, so I'm trying to mentally prepare myself because that's going to be a hard-fought battle, but I'm excited.
All righty. Well, with that, we're going to open up some questions for Tessa. Media, please identify yourself, your media outlet, and please one question alone for Tessa so we can run through all the questions we have. Star 6, as always, to get in queue.
Hi, Tessa. Thanks so much for taking time out to talk to us today. I'm Jason from Icon versus Icon.
Hey, Jason,
Wanted to
how are you
ask, doing great. I wanted to ask, obviously, you're building a great career for yourself, and a lot goes into that, and you're inspiring a lot of people. You know, what are the biggest obstacles you've faced along the way so far, and what keeps you so driven?
I believe I run into obstacles every day. You know, I'm having the last name that I do. I always say that it's a blessing and a curse because I always feel the pressure on my shoulders to live up to that. But also, I'm on my way to making my own path and paving my own way in this business. And Impact has given me the platform to do that thus far, and it's been such a great time working with them. And honestly, I think what keeps me so driven is my purpose, and I know exactly what my purpose is, and I know where I want to see myself in 5 years, and I know what my goals are, and I always keep that in the forefront of my mind. So yeah, I enjoy my time with Impact, and them giving me the platform to showcase what I want to, where I want to, and whatnot. But yeah.
Terrific. Thanks so much.
If you'd like to ask a question, please press 1 to add yourself to the queue. Otherwise, your request has been received.
Way that the independent scene is going very hot. You're going to be involved in the UK, and then also September's All In. What are you going to do to prepare yourself mentally for that kind of transition?
One thing I do say is you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. And that's one thing that I do. I stay ready. I'm in the gym twice a day, 7 days a week. I'm dieting all the time. I'm keeping my body and my mind right. You know, every match that I step foot in, you know, every time I step into the ring, it's a risk, it's an obstacle. But I'm very confident in myself. I'm very confident in my ability. And, you know, with All In coming up, I'm very, very excited. You know, they just announced the match, myself versus Madison Rain versus Chelsea Green versus Britt Baker, who I'm all familiar with in the ring, who I've beaten, all of which. So going into that match, I'm very confident. I'm very excited.
Well, we wish you good luck, and hopefully you definitely win that match.
Hey Tessa, Morgan Richards here from Radio Cardiff. How's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. So there was a lot of reports before you joined Impact that you turned down so many other promotions and offers to compete with the company. What really made Impact Wrestling the place that you wanted to compete out of everywhere else in the world?
I don't think it was Impact over anything else. I think it was more just a conversation I had with myself internally where I have goals and I have my purpose. I want to build upon what my grandpa, my dad, and my stepdad did in this business, and I also want to do that while making a name for myself. And to make a name for myself, I feel like it's important for me to do that before I go anywhere else. And so Impact is giving me the platform and the exposure, and they're supplying me with the tools and with the teachers to do that. And I'm very, very grateful for that because while I'm learning so much, I'm also honing my own skills and taking it to the next level in a way. So I'm very grateful to be at Impact. And honestly, if I'm being completely honest, it was just kind of going with my gut. And signing with Impact was a feeling that I had that was right for me, and that will be right for me for the next 2 years. And it was me just going with my gut.
Oh, good to hear. Cheers.
Hey, Tessa, John Corrigan from the Wrestling Estate here. You know, you mentioned your grandpa and your dad and your stepdad. What was their reaction when you broke the news to them that you wanted to become a professional wrestler?
Well, I'm not sure if many people know this, but I actually got into the business without even telling anyone in my family. It's something that I did on my own, and I had been training for 6 to 8 months before I even told my dad or my stepdad I was in the business. My grandpa had already passed away in 2012, so they're all very supportive, I think, and I'm not going to go into the whole story because I've told it on a few different media outlets before, and it's a little bit long. But I think they were all very supportive, and they made sure that I knew that this is going to be a hard journey, and that this is going to be hard, and that if this is something that I want to do, then I'm going to have to put absolutely everything that I have into it. Absolutely, that it's not a job, it's a lifestyle. It's 7 days a week. It's traveling. It's like the traveling is one of the hardest parts. You know, you're traveling from city to city. You're alone most of the time, and then while you're traveling, you're trying to find a gym. You're trying to find healthy food options. You're trying to keep your body and your mind right while you're doing all of this at the same time. So they were very supportive, but I think also they're realists, and they try to instill that into my mind. If that makes sense?
Absolutely.
Tessa, we're going to move to a question from Michael Toff, who'd like to know, did you consider using your father's finisher as your own, and how did you conceive your finisher?
Is that even a real question, Rob?
That is.
That is a real question. Okay. Well,
Michael Toff.
You know what, Michael? if I'm in the match and I'm feeling it, you know what? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. If it's going to make me win the match, maybe I will. There's really no telling because when I'm in there, I'm very unpredictable. So I really don't have an answer for that, Michael.
Hey Tessa, this is Rohit from Sportskeeda. So with All In coming up, who are some independent wrestlers who you would like to see join the Impact roster? It could be male or female.
There's a few that I would actually like to see. There's some really talented women out there that I would love to face, especially on the platform that Impact Wrestling gives us. There's women like Britt Baker, Laurel Van Ness, who was formerly with Impact, Jordan Gray. These are all some really good female wrestlers out there. You know, they're talented, they've got a great look. But I would love to share the Impact ring with them because one thing that they're not is they're not Tessa Blanchard and they're no Diamond. And so I would love to take their ass all over the Impact ring.
Hey Tessa, this is Aaron Barble from Wrestling Inc. You made headlines all over the place with your intergender matches with Brian Cage and so on. The Knockouts division is a growing division, but is there anyone you might have your eye on the male side of the roster that you might be interested in participating in an intergender match?
Oh, this might be my favorite question of the day because I was actually just looking through a bunch of old pictures from intergender matches that I had. I was going to make an Instagram post about it. Some of my favorite, like one person that I really would love to wrestle again is A.R. Fox, or Brian Cage again too, because those are two of my most favorite matches. David Starr, I would love to share the ring with him again. There's a wrestler in Florida, Angel Fashion. I would love to wrestle him. Those are just a few, but yeah.
Thanks so much.
You may now ask your question.
Hi, Tessa. It's James from Interactive Wrestling Radio. Pleasure to speak with you today.
Yeah, good to speak with you.
All right. So my question is kind of a simple one, but ever since you made your debut on Impact Wrestling, Don Callis has proclaimed you his favorite wrestler. What is it like to be the favorite wrestler of one of the commentators of Impact Wrestling?
Well, Don Callis has a special place in my heart. He's one of my most favorite people in the whole world. Even when I speak with him backstage, you know, he gives me very sound advice. He's an all-around great person. And you know what? He has really, really good taste if I'm his favorite wrestler.
Thank you so much.
Muted.
This is Ian Carey from SE Scoops. Hi, Tessa. You recently signed a multi-year deal with Impact Wrestling, which also allows you to compete with other promotions. I'm wondering, ideally, what are some of the accomplishments you would like to achieve over the next couple of years with Impact, and where you see the women's pro wrestling landscape being come the next time you're a free agent?
Well, I think that's a really simple question. My main goal at Impact Wrestling is the Knockouts Championship, and I'm going to have my opportunity to claim that on Sunday against Allie and Sue Young. That is the goal, because having that championship means that you're the best. And I'm confident that I am the uncrowned champion because I am the best women's wrestler in Impact Wrestling.
Hello, Tessa. This is Road to Great with Impact, the Impact Lounge, as well as V2 Wrestling. And my question for you is, there was rumors last Bound for Glory that you were going to show up in Impact at the Ottawa tapings. And my question was, what made you to decide to come to Impact now versus what the rumors had been?
Like, what made me decide to go to Impact?
No, I'm saying there was a rumor, I don't know if it was credible or not, but after Bound for Glory of last year, the Ottawa tapings, that you were going to arrive in Impact. And I don't know if those rumors are true or not, but my question was asking, if so, what made you decide to come now versus then?
Maybe they were just rumors then. I'm not sure because I don't know if I saw that or not. But you know, everything happens for the right reasons at the right time. I always say that. And coming to Impact was a gut feeling. It felt like the right time. I feel like this is a good place for me right now. It feels good. It's a good locker room. It's a good production. And I have a feeling. And one thing that I've always wanted to do is I want to do absolutely everything in wrestling. I want to go absolutely everywhere I can. I want to wrestle everyone that I can, and I want to accomplish everything that I can. And claiming the Impact Knockouts Championship is a goal of mine. It's one that I'm going to have the opportunity to do on Sunday when I face Allie and Sue Young. And so in my journey, in my story, I feel like this is just one stop on the road.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Tessa. This is Jordan from Steelchair Magazine. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Jordan?
I'm great, thank you. I'm really curious. I'm sure you watch your tape back for the, purposes of honing your craft, but are there any matches of yours that you particularly enjoy to watch just because you love watching the match?
I think this goes back to someone asked me an intergender question a second ago. I am a huge fan of intergender wrestling. It's something that I would love to see Impact evolve to one day. So my match against Brian Cage is one of my favorites. My match against Scorpio Sky at Bar Wrestling in Los Angeles is one of my favorites. I would love to wrestle Scorpio Sky again. That's one of my most favorite matches. And then my matches against Britt Baker, I'm very fond of. And I think that all goes to some of my opponents I just really enjoy working with. I don't think it really has much to do with me as I really enjoy working with them.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Tessa. Morgan Richards here again from Radio Callis. You mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I want to ask you again about All In. Of course, you'll be competing in that four-way, but with all the talks around the event and the buzz, the excitement, does it feel like this is just going to be such a special event in Chicago?
Oh, I don't think people quite realize how special this is going to be. I think that this is huge, not only for just professional wrestling in general, and I think it is the biggest show that the indies have ever seen. Because honestly, it's not even an indie show. What Nick, Matt, and Cody are doing, this is absolutely next level. I don't think people quite understand the vision that they have. it's going to be something so big. And the platform that they're giving us women, me, Madison, Chelsea, and Britt, we have the opportunity to go out there and do something very, very special and elevate women's wrestling as a whole. And to be a part of that, for Cody and the Bucks to believe in us for and give us that platform and believe in us to tell us to go out there and just do what we can, like, that's very special to me. Cody and the Bucks hold a special place in my heart, and for them to just want us to be a part of this show and give us this match, give us this platform. You know, the show sold out in like 28 minutes or something crazy. You know, the Sears Center is going to be absolutely electric. I'm kind of at a loss for words at it. I'm very, very excited, anticipating this.
Hi, Tessa. It's Rory from Team Venom Media over in the UK. What I wanted to ask you was Impact's currently on the march to Bound for Glory. What would be your ideal scenario heading into that pay-per-view?
My ideal scenario heading into Bound for Glory is going into Bound for Glory the Knockouts champion.
Okay, is there anyone in particular that you'd like to be facing on the show at all? Or?
Honestly, one knockout that I would really love to face would be Taya Valkyrie. Her and I have shared the ring maybe twice now on the independent circuit, and both have just been very hard-hitting matches. And so, go to war with her again would be incredible. But honestly, it doesn't matter who it is. It can be anybody, because I'm going to let my work speak for itself, and you guys have seen what I've done. I've ran through the entire Knockouts locker room thus far, and they can put anyone in front of me at Bound for Glory. I'm betting on me going in Knockouts champion.
Okay, thank you.
This is Brian Berger from the High Spot Podcast and highspotpodcast.com. Thank you so much, Ms. Blanchard, for a few minutes of your time.
No problem.
I've said this many times before that I'm a huge admirer of your work and everything you do. You talked about, you have a purpose, you have goals you want to set, and I don't think it's a question of if, but when you become Impact Knockouts champion. So my scenario is, with all in the excitement that's going on in the world of professional wrestling, everything that you're doing, you have that ability to kind of sit back and maybe sometimes the journey is always, you're worried about the goals and not necessarily enjoying the journey. Are you enjoying the journey? Do you have the time to process it and kind of sit back and give yourself the opportunity to pat yourself on the back every once in a while?
I am enjoying the journey. I'm having the most fun I've ever had in my entire life, and that's why I am where I am right now at Impact. Impact is such a fun place to work. I enjoy it so much. I can't stress that enough. Like, the locker room, the people, working with Gail Kim, working with Jimmy Jacobs, I love working at Impact. It is so much fun. I can't stress that enough. But also, as much pressure as I put on myself, as much as I push myself, and I remain focused, and I put so much pressure on myself, whether it be in the gym, whether it be with wrestling, whatever goals I have. I do always remind myself, sometimes even while I'm in the ring at the end of a match, I take a step back and just be like, Tessa, you got this. You're in control. Look at where you are right now. And just remind myself to be grateful and remember where I came from. I remember at High Spot 5 years ago almost, me, Cedric, Caleb, in the ring for 6-7 hours, 6-7 days a week, just training, trying to be the best that I can, trying to absorb as much knowledge as I could, because I view them as some of the best in the world. And so just remembering where I come from and is very, very important for me.
Hey, Tessa, Jason from Icon versus Icon again. Obviously, your family legacy is undeniable, and it helped you steer you in this direction that you're currently on. But who are some of the performers who really had a big impact on you in your formative years? Anybody that really stands out in your mind as a big influence?
Well, my favorite wrestler of all time is Johnny Valentine. I believe him to be the best bad guy ever in wrestling. He's my absolute favorite. I actually had a good conversation with Greg Valentine about this. I think we were, actually that was at WrestleCon Mania weekend in New Orleans. So he's my absolute favorite. But female-wise, one person that I really, really, really would like to share the ring with, and who I believe to be one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, is Gail Kim.
Can't argue with that. Wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Hi Tessa, it's Oliver Newman here from Broken But Glorious Wrestling Podcast. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. My question is, do you think there is room for a wrestling diva-like character in this women's wrestling revolution? And with that, I mean with regards to new Impact signee Scarlett Bordeaux.
What about Scarlett?
Do you think there's room for a wrestling diva-like character in this women's wrestling revolution, where it's about a wrestler's wrestler?
I'm not sure I understand the question. If could you explain that a little bit better? Sorry.
Scarlett Bordeaux is, putting across that it's about sexiness and all of that, whereas you girls are going out there and you're wrestling, so it's wrestlers, and Scarlett Bordeaux is coming across like she's a wrestling diva. And with the women's wrestling revolution, it being more about professional wrestling than how it used to be, I just wonder, is there room for Scarlett Bordeaux in 2018?
I think Scarlett Bordeaux is making room for Scarlett Bordeaux in Impact Wrestling, and if she wants to step foot in the ring, across from me even, across from any of the women in the Knockouts locker room, but especially if she wants to step in the ring with me, you know what? Let her. In fact, I tell Impact, please book that match, please.
Hi, Tessa. Mary Lee from Last Word on Pro Wrestling. I'm wondering, you talked a little bit about your father, your grandfather, your stepdad. We're at a point now in wrestling where it looks like the daughters are kind of the ones carrying the mantle for a lot of these family legacies. You look at Charlotte Flair, you look at yourself, Rachel Ellering. So what are your thoughts on, the fact that it's the daughters, not necessarily the sons, who are now carrying these legacies for their family?
I think it's very empowering, especially for women's athletes, because and Charlotte and I have talked about this some before, but I think that it's such a blessing to be able to carry on what my dad, my stepdad, my grandfather laid the foundation for in our family, and to be able to carry on that legacy, but at the same exact time kind of pave a way for myself and make a name for myself and build upon that myself. That's very empowering to me. And one thing I've always said is I've always wanted to inspire or motivate people, and it just so happens that God gave me the platform of professional wrestling to hopefully do that for people. But yeah, it's very empowering. It's a very beautiful thing to me to go out there and be like, you know what, just because I'm a girl doesn't mean that I can't do this, or I can't do this, or I can't lift this, or I can't hit as hard as this, or if that makes sense at all. It's very empowering for me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Tessa. This is Jordan from Steel Chair Magazine again. I imagine that as you're looking around the locker room, you're scoping out your competition. You're looking at the stacked talent that you have there at Impact. Looking past the Knockouts Championship, which I know you plan on winning, who do you think is really big competition down the line?
I've said this before, and every time I'm in the Knockouts locker room, I think this is, these women are talented. These women are some of the best women's wrestlers in the world. Some of them have given me a run for my money a few times. But one thing that they're not is they're not Tessa Blanchard. I am next level. I am a different breed. So I'm not sure if, I mean, all of them are competition. All of them are phenomenal. But they're not me. And so right now I see myself at the top tier, the top of the knockouts division, the uncrowned champion. And Sunday, the landscape of everything is going to change. Mark my words. Quote me on that.
I will. Thank you.
Well, Tessa, with that, I will wrap it up for you. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Give you the floor here for a final thought as we head into Toronto Sunday and Monday.
Awesome. Thank you, Ross. Thank you all for having me. It was a pleasure talking to all of you guys. Until next time.